First and foremost, how dare I not have my lip gloss on, knowing that I'm getting ready to do a YouTube. I think if I want anyone to get anything out of the topic of this video, it's just the fact that it was really, really hard for me to find out and figure out the reality of transitioning not only into a woman, but transitioning from, an odd, ugly little duckling into such a jaded swan. And the reason, again, that I'm so jaded and standoffish and that I don't date, that I don't let a lot of people close to me. I know I portray off like this glamorous YouTube girl, but it's really outside of my normal persona, is the fact of just how incredibly judged women are based upon their looks, how much jealousy there is out there, how much envy, and how much people in general will lie to you, and men will come along and just tell you that they're in love with you just because the way that you look, don't know anything about you. And it's just been really, really hard journey, going from not only one state to the other, but transforming from a duckling into a swan. Hey YouTube, today I'm going to kind of get into another real topic here on Bambi. So sit back, relax, and kind of enjoy this discussion with me today, as I'm going to kind of talk to you about maybe my transition and my journey from an ugly duckling into more of a jaded swan. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this bullshit here with me on Bambi, as I kind of talk to you about my journey in life, going from an ugly duckling into more of a jaded swan. As I kind of get into this discussion here with everybody, I think the one thing maybe that made me jaded in life or later on in life is the fact that during the duration of my life, I was always told the things that I would never do, the things that weren't possible, what I was not going to do in my life, how, that wasn't going to be possible, how I was just always going to be kind of like this nerdy, stuck out, ugly little freak, and that I would never amount to anything. So I think later on in life, maybe that didn't have much of an effect, but it definitely had an impact on the changes that I decided to make in my life. I think one of the hardest things for me personally was going from the fact that I was not an attractive child. I was very skinny. I was born a little boy. I was very unconfident about myself. I was very unsure. And I always told myself the things that I could not do. And a lot of this was given to me from society, because society loves to beat up and trash and just kind of demean people that are a whole lot different than them. And it certainly had a huge impact upon my transition, because after I transitioned, of course, into a woman, and before I transitioned into this one, a woman, I had this idea of what it was going to be like for me to become a woman. The idea that I had of me becoming a woman was this ideal, this girl that was going to be confident and was going to be outgoing and was going to give everybody a chance and was going to date and was going to have fun and was going to be flirty and was going to be this and was going to be that, was going to be somebody that dressed up all the time, of course, and looked sexy and loved makeup and loved hair and loved all the accessories. But in reality, I want everybody to know, on my YouTube channel, that was far from the reality as to what I went through. So yes, I was definitely a hurt, ugly little duckling. I was somebody that was bashed and somebody that was persecuted, somebody that wasn't understood, somebody that was held back, and somebody that was abused and tormented and told, all these things that I would never, ever, ever accomplish. So here's where the jaded part come in. Men, you do not, in my experience in life, I find a lot of you don't necessarily treat women well, but you certainly don't treat trans women well. You treat trans women like shit, to be honest with you. And then you wonder why a lot of you, and I have a lot of you, I have so many of you, all my girlfriends combined can't compare to how many of you guys hit on me. For every one of my girlfriends, like 10 times more of you guys hit on me. And you always wonder why trans women never want anything to do with you guys. It's because you guys treat trans women like purity shit. You treat us like shit. You treat us like we're something different, like we're just a fantasy, like we're just going to fulfill something of yours, like we're somebody that wants to experiment with you. We don't give a fuck about experimenting with you. We don't give a fuck what you want to try with a trans person. We don't give a fuck what you've seen in a porn video. And we really don't give a fuck to hear about what you find so different so that you can just keep us a hidden little secret. And I'm really, really, really tired, or I've gotten really tired in my life with the relationships that I've had because I'm an honest person and I don't feel like there's anything to hide. And I certainly don't feel like there's anything to be ashamed of with my transition, of course, of going from an ugly duckling to a jaded swan. So I don't hide anything necessarily about my truth. But what really bothers me is that I have a lot of people that will come along and they'll find my truth out and they don't say much. And then, years and years later, I find out they're still kind of like, they're still around or whatnot. So my thing is I understand that something might be really, really difficult for you all to deal with, but understand that that's probably the reason why I stay to myself, why I don't date, why I just choose not to get close to people is because of my experiences in my life of going through this journey and having to deal with so much bullshit from society. So growing up, I was definitely picked on, ostracized, told what I wasn't going to do. And this was not just from friends, this was from family members that I had to deal with bullshit from, and then as I got older and transitioned and I became more of a swan, it made me very isolative, very to myself, very not wanting to date anybody, very jaded on who I trust, very, I have confidence in myself, I guess, but I really don't have confidence in other people. I really don't have confidence in the rest of, what other people say to me just because they find out one thing about you and then they think that they know your entire story and really they don't know anything about me at all. All they know is one fact and, they sum it up to where they know my whole life story. And that's just been a really, really hard, difficult journey and situation. Sometimes I sit back and I can't even believe like how far in life that I've actually made it, like where I've actually come to and where I started off and where I'm at now. Like I'm like, wow, this is just a completely different person. And I have not only changed, identities and gone from one state of the being to the other, but I also started off, like I said, a very ugly little duckling to a jaded swan to where I didn't get any attention from anybody and I was the last person on earth that anybody would know existed to, now I do things such as model. I'm fairly successful on YouTube. I have tons of guys come at me everywhere. I don't have to wear a drop of makeup on my face. I can just kind of put my hair up, go out in society and I'm still, looked at, stared at, hit on, all that stuff. So it's been really, really hard to go from one state of where nobody would even know that I existed to the next state where, I have all this attention and all these guys coming on to me. It's been very, very difficult to adjust to. Personally, the hardest thing for me going from an ugly duckling to a jaded swan was finding out the reality of, having to live this life, of having to realize how important that everybody finds that it is how a woman looks. That has been the hardest part, the most difficult part. That I don't know if I'll ever quite adapt to it of, how important it is that a girl looks. It's the most important thing. It doesn't matter how intelligent that she is, what knowledge that she's acquired, how well read that she's become. It just matters, how well she puts on her makeup and how well she goes out and walks or how she fits this dress. It's really become a fucked up illusion and a whole bunch of bullshit to me, to be honest with you. As always, I appreciate you all, my people, my wonderful subscribers. I can't believe how many of you I'm starting to grow and so rapidly, how the Bambi Nicole is just growing every single day. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for putting up with more bullshit here with me on the Bambi Nicole. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for all your likes. Thanks for everything that you do. And I can't wait to have a conversation here with you again very, very soon on Bambi. I'll see you soon, my sunshines. Bye.